podcast.
You listen to Kendrick and Matt on the Slip and Dip podcast.
Oh, beautiful, man. What is up, people? Welcome back to the Slip and Dip podcast, episode 129 on Between Rounds Radio. I am Matthew Wells. Alongside me, as always, Kendrick Johnson. Got a fantastic show for you guys lined up. Two guests, one in the MMA world, Mr. Chase Hooper. You guys know UFC featherweight out there making some waves. And also Xander Zayas in the boxing world, up and coming rising star. He's only 17 years old.
If you don't know him, you need to know him.
Yeah, we got a hot rising prospect in your ears early. So you guys are really gonna enjoy our chat with him. He's coming off a big win this weekend on Saturday. So fantastic win for him. And we're gonna get into those interviews with those guys in just a few minutes. First, we got to talk about a few things that happened this weekend.
For the boxing, it's all boxing.
It's all boxing. It's all boxing. No MMA just yet.
Yeah, the Jaime Munguia and moved up to middleweight. Big prospect. I can't call him prospect because he's a champion, but big name in the Golden Boy stable. Went down to San Antonio, beat up on Gary Spike O'Sullivan. Probably should have got stopped in the 8th round. They let Spike get to the 11th before he finally went out on his shield with a TKO. And then on slash ESPN, it was kind of part of the DAZN network. No, take that back. McGee was on DAZN, and Joe Smith and Jesse Hart fight was on ESPN. Again, my platform was mixed up. Top rank. Joe Smith Jr., if people don't remember him, is a guy that knocked Bernard Hopkins out the ring almost basically but ended his career. Yeah. And he didn't knock Jesse Hart out the ring, but he won the split decision in a fight that shouldn't even been a split decision. He won like 9 out of the 11, 12 rounds. It's like how you get this guy a round, less known, a card. He won a card, but at the end of the day, he got the win. But I show you what's wrong with boxing. Anybody watch that fight would have been like, what? This man won a card? Like, what you talking about?
Yeah.
It was that bad.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the reaction. I didn't see the actual fight, but I did see that reaction. It'd be like, what rounds did he win? Was the reaction that I was seeing. But
see, Jaime got an old boy going out on his shield.
Yeah, like that was all well and good, but we got to talk about the co-main event on this Jaime Munguia card because I have never seen anything like this ever in my life. And for those of you that have not seen it as well, something happened in between rounds on the co-main event between these two ladies for two titles, WBO, WBC title fight, and just listen to what goes on here in the corner ring, and I'll recap it just in case the audio isn't clear enough for you guys. But just if you're on YouTube, you're watching, but just listen.
Champion Frank John Cruz deserves. You want that or you want that? You want that or you want the motherfucking title? Hey, get this shit off her head now. Take it off. Now get mad. Look, break the fuck up. Look up. You want that or you want the belt? You want that or you want the belt? Huh?
Okay, so that was it. That was the audio side of it, and I know it's kind of unclear, but what happens is basically in between rounds, she had a weave in, and she was obviously losing the fight, and her corner wasn't having it anymore because it was kind of coming undone, and she was obviously worried about it. So the corner was just like, get this, you know what, out of her head, and had one of her, I guess the other corner men just yank her weave out. And she was trying to keep it in, and then the corner man, and then the coach was just like, "You want that weave, or you want the belt?" So I have never seen that hype.
Ship it out.
I've never seen that before.
I'll be remiss. Speaking of women's boxing, Carissa Shields became the quickest person, male or female, to win a belt in 3 different weight classes and only her 10th fight. With a dominant performance, which could have another fight that could have been stopped in the 6th or 7th round, but it went the distance, and she clearly did what she do to show everybody why she's the baddest female on the planet. And when it comes to the boxing game, rumor has it she wants to go to MMA because she wants to fight Amanda Nunes and a big payday. But smart for Amanda Nunes, who said she will only fight her if it's in the octagon. You're going to have to come to Miss Nunes terms.
No, of course. And the only reason, this is the exact reason, like there's so much discrepancy between male boxing, female boxing, male MMA, female MMA. Clarissa Shields is the only boxer that is actively trying to come into MMA still. Like we've seen, James Toney do it, right? James Toney got his nice little payday. But the fact that Clarissa Shields is campaigning so hard for this, she's only doing it because she's not getting paid boxing. She would probably have a bigger purse if she stepped over to the MMA world and fought Amanda Nunes, like on a co-main or a main event of a pay-per-view. If Clarissa Shields was getting paid what guys get paid in boxing, this would not be a thing. It wouldn't. But here we are. She's got to come over to MMA and try to earn her a little $1 million paycheck, off for some pay-per-view points or something like that. If the UFC would actually shell out that much and give her that, I would see the way that she should or that she would, but it's just one of those things.
The pool is shallow. Like the lady she's fighting, I couldn't even tell you nothing about it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like she's dominating everybody. Nobody knows who she's fighting, and that's just the state of women's boxing. I mean, hell, they're still so discriminatory in boxing.
Like they have 2-minute rounds.
Exactly. They act like women can't stand in the ring for the same amount of time that men can, which is ridiculous.
That lady would have got finished too had it been 3 minutes last night.
You go into MMA, and MMA males and females, they wear the same size gloves, same amount of rounds, same amount of time. There's no discrimination about this. And I was kind of having this discussion with my dad the other day too when we were at a high school basketball game. Like, why do girls have a smaller basketball?
Because physically, their hands are physically.
They don't mean so. Guys
makes a little bit different.
Guys play with the same size basketball their entire lives. When you're in middle school, you're playing with the same size basketball that you play with when you're in the professional leagues. So your size and your hands, like that, has nothing to do with it. You're going to grow into it, maybe, but you still got to shoot with that same ball when you're 12 years old. So why should it be different with the females?
But you're strong enough. You see kids at 12 shooting threes. You don't see girls shooting threes.
You do.
At 12 years old.
That's such BS because I played pickup games with girls in college, girls that were on the team. They play the same size ball, shooting just as fine. But for some reason, they have to play with a smaller ball. It's kind of the same. It goes back to the boxing thing. They have to play. They have to fight for shorter rounds. For what reason? It does not make any sense to me.
I guess for hooping, it makes a big difference the size of the ball.
It doesn't, though, because I've seen it play out in person. I've seen it in person, dude.
Like I said, when you know how to manipulate the ball and stuff,
I've seen
it's
multiple females play with a regular-sized basketball and shake dudes out of their shoes. I've seen it in person. The size of the basketball is ridiculous to me. But that's a whole other thing. We don't talk about basketball all that much on this podcast. But I do want to get to one more thing before we get to our interviews with Chase Hooper and Xander Zayas, and that's this whole thing about Mike Perry and Mike Perry's tweets. Mike Perry doing the most once again, trying to get that 2% energy that he claims that is black. But no, Mike Perry is very much a white dude, and he's out here in these Twitter streets throwing out N-bombs. And I'm not having it. A lot of other people in the combat sports world are not having it. But it seems to be who is having it is the UFC because.
But why are y'all surprised? It's like the whole Kobe thing. They didn't show you who they are, but it's like we gonna keep burning our hand.
It's not about burning our hand. It's like if we don't say anything about it, that means that we're accepting it. And if you stop saying stuff about it, that means they're definitely not going to change anything. So every time this happens, we definitely should call it out as people of the media. Be like, look, these type of tweets out here are not acceptable because if Mike Perry was an NBA player or an NFL player, his ass would have been fined and suspended off rip like that same day. There would have been an announcement from the league. Hey, this is not acceptable, Mike Perry. You cannot call somebody a bitch ass, you know what, on Twitter.
Then when I would say when he got fined, when he got suspended.
He would have gotten suspended. Absolutely. Absolutely would have gotten suspended. And then the double down was even worse. I didn't even realize that there was a double down until just now when I pulled up his tweet or his Twitter feed. I didn't even realize that this was a double down.
Yeah, he tripping.
I did not even realize this because this is exponentially worse. I saw the first one where he actually said the N-word, and then now I was like, all right, I'm done with this dude. And then I did not see the double down later that day.
Oh, you went done with him?
I didn't see the double down. Like, I was like, man, get this dude off my Twitter feed, man. And then I just went back to check to pull it up for this little segment that we're doing. And the dude doubled it down even more. For the people listening, obviously the first tweet, he called Michael Jai White a BAN. And you know the acronym, you can figure it out. And then he doubles down. You have to make a big deal out of this. A white man said that to you straight up because you're straight up being one. Y'all can't act like you don't hear me. It was BS. He was trying to slander a real gangster so people would think he's more than an actor. Or hashtag FLA, we say hashtag FOH. And listen, Mike Perry likes to pretend like he's a gangster and all that stuff. I mean, I get it. You're a fighter. You're a professional fighter. Yeah, you go out there, put it all on the line, whatever. Michael Jai White is not an actor, by the way. I mean, he is an actor, but he's much more than just an actor. He very much is a well-studied martial artist. You go to his Wikipedia page, it says he studied like 8 different styles of martial arts. I mean, there's videos of him. Got one pulled up right here for you. Videos of him out there doing his point karate days, out there just sidekicking dudes to death. And that's where
like he did the sweet chin music.
Yeah, I mean that's the sidekicks, the same sidekicks that we praise guys like Wonder Boy for. Michael Jai White is throwing them with perfect technique, putting dudes on their ass.
Dudes running up on them still.
And listen, I mean, yeah, some actors are just actors, but Michael Jai White is one of those dudes that a lot of people give a lot of respect for being a well-studied martial artist. And I wish I should have pulled up the video of him teaching Kimbo Slice how to punch. I'm actually going to do that right now while we're still on here. But
he can't do it.
Yeah, like going back while I pull this up. Look, before I type in Kimbo on YouTube, and it's the first video that comes up, just to let you know how many people have seen this video. And it's Michael Jai White.
29 million.
Yes, 29 million views. Michael Jai White is teaching, for people that haven't seen it, obviously I think anybody listening to this podcast has seen it, but it's basically Michael Jai White and Kimbo Slice on the movie set in between the trailers.
Like this, it's like, like when I was catching up to you before, and you were going, oh, how's that happening?
Yeah.
It's like this, like what's your fastest hand?
I would say probably my left hook.
Okay, well, hey, put your left hand up. Like, just go like this, right? Now I'm gonna throw three jabs.
Right.
Don't let me hit them. Don't let me hit your hand.
So what you want me to do?
Just move it out the way.
All right.
So now notice the speed of the first 2.
And I gotta kind of keep talking over because I don't want us to get copyrighted for it. But
2. Okay, now here's the third one.
As you can see, he's basically just teaching him the quickness of a straight punch versus basically what a lot of MMA fighters do and a lot of
that loopy stuff,
the loopy shit,
the amateur stuff. And
there is a time and a place for overhand shots. We see it all the time. They are effective, but more often than not,
the odds are low.
yeah, when you're throwing a straight jab, you want to keep it straight. You want to keep it tight, and that's what Michael Jai White is teaching him. So, I mean, I guess Mike Perry can continue to call out Michael Jai White and expect to just run through some dude, but I would expect Michael Jai White to actually cause some problems for Mike Perry if that in this hypothetical fight world.
Hey, we know somebody who could get to that and give him that secret sauce on how to stop Mike Perry. how that one Jeff Neal.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. But that's neither here nor there. The main thing is that, listen, my beef is with the UFC on this. If you were going to allow people who represent your organization to just go out here and throw out racial slurs like it's nothing, then yeah, we got a problem, and we got to figure out a solution to this problem, because this is not acceptable for me. It's not. Sorry. But
what's the difference between that and them allowing Kobe to do the thing he did for last year? He didn't say no. Okay, he didn't say no racial slurs, but
he was towing the line. He was towing the line very closely. And again, they have this actually in their code of conduct,
which is stupid.
What, a code of conduct is stupid?
Yeah. Well, how do you have a code of conduct when you trying to say that they're not really employees? Are they employees or not? That's the dumbest thing ever. Like the NFL, they have an association. They're employees of the Cowboys. They're employees of the Dallas Mavericks. They want to sit there and say, on one hand, you're not an employee, but then on the other hand, you're on this code of conduct.
Yeah,
it's
right. They like to have this great.
Like if they were like really like they had a union or they were like literally working for the UFC. 100% makes sense.
It's it's a gray area, and
I used to submit somebody if they don't work for a year, according to what you said in those documents. I challenge people to read that. What's that called? That the whole thing with Zupa. I've read it a couple of times. You can't read it in one setting because it's like shit, like 70, 80 some damn pages, like reading a novel. But
you talking about the court case documents?
Yeah, the court case documents. You learn some cool stuff when you see that stuff. But it's like, okay, they got this code of conduct, but then they really don't have any employees to enforce it against.
Right, and the thing is, there's a gray area with the UFC along those lines. Like you said, it is very gray. But you have them in uniforms. You have to wear a fight uniform. You only have certain sponsors, like seeing things like that.
They enforce.
Yeah, and it's...
Well, they enforce it, then it's not there. Like, they're not going to enforce this.
They're not, and they should.
True.
And that's the thing. I'm trying to find... Where is he?
Oh, he died? I'm just tripping out. Is that Sankara?
No.
Is it?
He's looking at La Parka.
La Parka.
Not the WCW La Parka.
Okay, I'm like, oh, that dude was cool.
Yeah, the other.
Okay.
It was the AAA. The AAA.
All right. Like, that dude was cool.
La Parka passed away. So for pro wrestling fans out there, all right.
You know what I'm talking about, the little...
I know. WCW La Parka was legit.
Yeah, for real.
Let's see. I'm trying to find this tweet from one Luke Brook.
They said he got into it with. It said he got into it with some people in the media.
Here we go. Standards of conduct that the UFC has. I'm going to put this up on the screen for those of you watching on YouTube. And it's basically, it is a standards of conduct that's in these contracts for these fighters. And the paragraph of note is, in the event an athlete engages in derogatory or offensive conduct, including without limitation, insulting language, symbols, or actions about a person's ethnic background, heritage, color, race, national origin, age, religion, disability, gender, or sexual orientation, such conduct will result in sanctions in the form of contractual reduction from either from the athlete's purse or his or her next bout. And listen, we've seen this a couple of times where the UFC hadn't done anything about this. Mainly, you can point to one Conor McGregor, who was about to step into the octagon again, which we'll kind of briefly mention here. When he said all sorts of things about Habib and his religion and his wife and everything like that, very much stepping over the line. But Conor McGregor,
not a fight in sight.
Conor McGregor is Conor McGregor. So hey, maybe somebody said behind the scenes, hey Conor, maybe tone it down a little bit, would you? You're kind of stepping over the line. We don't want to have to think we care about this kind of thing in the public setting. So, of course, Conor doesn't get anything done to him. But very much, this is a problem, man. When you start not checking, and it's not necessarily to get Mike Perry in trouble. It's to curtail. Let me finish my statement here. It's not necessarily to get Mike Perry in trouble. It's to send a message to everyone else that, hey, this shit is not going to fly here. You will not be out here calling people the N-words. You will not be throwing racial slurs. You will not be throwing any sort of other discriminatory attacks at your opponent or anybody else on social media, because you represent us in these three letters, which are the UFC.
But the thing is, the standards already set the complete opposite narrative. So it's like they've told you who they are. Whether you want to look at who they are, they've shown you who they are already.
And again, when you stop saying something about it, that is acceptance. And we as journalists should not accept this. Especially as people of color, when white people are calling black people the N-word, that is very much not acceptable in any way, shape, or form. So again, to say nothing is accepting it. I refuse to just accept it by saying nothing. So there, I have said something. UFC, please do something about this going forward. I will see you guys next month. So yes, I will be bringing this up to people of interest when I see you guys face to face, just to see what kind of response I will get.
That'd be interesting.
So that is that. Anything else you want to get into? I mean, obviously,
the whole Jessica Penny thing was kind of crazy. Like,
oh yeah. Let's talk about that real quick. Yeah,
I remember seeing some pictures of her jacked up. It's like, bro, what was she taking? You were that big when Joanna was whooping your ass.
You saw some photos out there. A lot of Photoshop pictures of her, super jacked as well. But go ahead.
But it's like, I don't. It's a bad situation, but the whole like I'm gonna sit there and contribute to your GoFundMe. No, I'm good. When you get that fighter bonus for knocking out somebody or fighter of the night bonus, you ain't trying to give me no money. You too can pay your way to get back up in the UFC. I'm good. I think that's crazy, though.
Yeah,
and then her management company set it up. You too, they could give some of that money that they making if they really want to represent her. So I'm good.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't read this yet, she basically poured her heart out on this Instagram post, screenshotted about 4 pages.
Not a good look, but hey, nothing I can do for that.
I mean, listen, hey, she said everything was going on with the USADA situation. Yeah, USADA has caused a lot of problems for a lot of fighters with all these false positives and lengthy suspensions for some people. Some people, they seem to go the extra mile. Hey, we'll move an entire event for you, John Jones, sort of thing. And all sorts of craziness that UFC does. There's a lot of inconsistencies. And one, Jessica Panay, has effectively had her MMA career ended as it stands right now because of this. But yeah, go to Jessica Panay on Instagram if you guys haven't read this. Definitely recommend that. Get caught up on. Obviously, like we mentioned at the top of the show, there is no MMA to talk about, but there is MMA coming up, and it's coming up in a big way this weekend.
All y'all do is watch a ESPN broadcast, and you can't go without seeing a commercial. One, Conor McGregor.
Yes, Conor McGregor is returning against Donald Cowboy Cerrone, UFC 246 this weekend. In what otherwise is a very weak card for a pay-per-view.
It's a weak card, but people are not really talking about this card for it to be Conor. It's not compared to other Conor cards. It's not on there. It doesn't got the blades of the Aldo. It only got the blades of the Chad Mendez fight.
Well, there's no title on the line. No title on the line here, but it's still headlining a pay-per-view. Hey, only Conor can headline a pay-per-view without a title. Only Conor McGregor can do that. But yeah, look, there's names that we like, that I like personally, friends of the show that are on this card, but in the grand scheme of things, relatively weak card if something were to happen to the main, which I would put the likelihood of something happening this fight week very low because they're not cutting weight. So there's nothing to really worry about on that front, which seems to be the cause of a lot of issues with dropping out. But listen, Conor McGregor, Donald Cerrone, Holly Holm, Raquel Pennington, we had her on last episode. Go listen. It's up on the YouTube channel. The audio will be up soon on Between Round Radio of that. Maurice Green, a friend of the show as well.
I know Claudia's back.
Yeah, Claudia's back. Alexa Grasso. There's good fights. Anthony Pettis, Diego Ferreira, Forrest MMA. Listen, there's good fights, but for the grand scheme of things, it's not going to captivate the casual audience like the man at the top of the billing will and Conor McGregor. Sadiq Youssef's also on this card as well. Roxanne Modafferi. Like I said, good, up-and-comer names and a few vets in there. Roxanne Modafferi, Drew Dober, another friend of the show. Listen, I'm excited to sit down and watch the entire card. I know that the casuals are going to be in the Twitter mentions being like, when's the main event? When's the main event? I've muted most of you people that have asked me that question on Twitter, so if you still ask me, don't. Because I don't want to be brought down by worried about, well, if I calculate the, let's see, maybe around 10:45 Central. I don't know. Listen, just watch the damn event. Show all these fighters some love. How about that? But yeah, Conor's coming back. I'm sure Vegas is going to be a little bit of a madhouse as it always is on Conor McGregor fight card. Like you said, not as crazy as an Aldo weekend or a
Chad Menendez fight was crazy.
Chad Menendez fight
was a fight week.
Stupid nuts. Who else?
Oh, New York, Eddie Alvarez in New York. That was crazy.
Yeah. Listen, Conor brings crowds, man. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of crowds he's bringing in 2020 in a non-title fight at the beginning of the year. I will be interested in that. Yeah, of course. We'll be our last
pay-per-view to watch before we go see one in person.
Yeah,
the first time since we've seen the show that we've both been at the same event. We've been to fights because this is what we do for a living, but we ain't both been. And I'm going to April for sure for the Habib fight. That's going to be crazy too. That card's already there. I'm already liking that card.
I might try to find a way up to that one because
I'm for sure going to be there.
I was
book it.
I went to the UFC.
So you hadn't seen one in New York.
UFC 209. I went to try to witness the Habib and Ferguson, and it got pulled out under us. So maybe I try to actually see that one in person too. We'll see. But yeah, let's get into these chats. We've talked way too long for this intro. 25 minutes in. Listen, hit that subscribe button. We got a new motto for 2020 for this show. and we're calling it Attack the Algorithm. So how do you attack the algorithm? You smash that like button, you share it with your friends, you subscribe to the channel. When we post these links to these interviews and everything, you gotta share them out. First off, smash the like if you're listening right now, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We have a merch link in the description below. Pick up yourself a t-shirt, pick yourself up a hoodie. We appreciate you guys who have done so already. Thank you very much to help grow the show. And if you want to show us some love some other way, we also got the Venmo. We got the Cash App links right there as well. So we'd appreciate that. But yeah, coming up to you now, Chase Hooper and then Xander Zayas. Enjoy the rest of the show. See you guys next week.
Please welcome to the Slip and Dip Podcast. UFC prospect, a man on the rise in the octagon, Mr. Chase, the Teenage Dream Hooper. Fresh off his victory at UFC 245, got a performance bonus for stopping Daniel Tamir with those elbows. Props to you, Chase.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, I had a great time and looking forward to the next one.
Did your life literally change by getting that big victory on that stage? Like, people knew about you, but it seemed like you more out there now because it kind of like got you over the hump, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. It was like a big build-up. Like, all my fights in my career before that have been trying to get to the UFC. So now to be able to, be on the world stage and kind of like be at this level is super cool. And it's cool to be able to, hang with all these high-level guys, so.
I crazy get crazy shouts like from Ben Askren talking about my son doing well.
Yeah, no, he's been cool. He's been running with the jokes, so having fun with that.
That's dope. So, like you mentioned, that world stage and everything. Was there any Octagon Jitters that we hear about? Did you have any of that going in, or walk into the ring, or walk to the octagon rather?
Honestly, no. Like, I was just excited the whole time. Definitely the week leading up to it, kind of doing some of this stuff. I was still excited, but I was a little bit like, oh, like, this is a big deal. Like, I'm doing a lot of, like, huge, things like, oh, these are the shorts that everybody else wears that I see in all these fights. And it's like, now I'm, like, doing all the fitting and stuff, doing all these photo shoots, doing all these interviews and stuff for it. And it just kind of brought it into perspective. But once I got to the arena, it was kind of, I was just excited. I was ready to go, and I was ready to kind of show off my skills.
How different was it from the Contender Series? Because that's kind of, I guess, a step up from what anything else that you're going to get in any other promotion on itself. But how different was it from Contender Series to, hey, real deal UFC 245 pay-per-view?
So for Contender, I'd only been a professional fighter for 6 months before they offered me a shot on Contender. So that was like a huge step up. For all my fights before, I think I had 4 fights before I got onto Contender, or at least 4 professional. They'd all been a couple minutes from my house. I just kind of, do normal stuff the week of, and then drive to weigh-ins and then drive back home, and then kind of, just go there the next day. So it wasn't like a very, it wasn't like a big show. Like, it wasn't like a huge lead up or anything. I was just kind of living my normal life up until a day or two before, and then I'd start cutting weight and all that. But yeah, it was crazy, to deal with that level of, media stuff and having to, even Contender, you're in a small room, and it's it was silent when I walked out. Nobody said a word. That was kind of eerie. But to be in the T-Mobile Arena with it wasn't packed at the time, but it was still loud, and it was it was cool.
That's dope, man.
That's cool. How much did so once you got your fight, because you fought so early, what was it like to watch the other fight, to be backstage and kind of soak in that atmosphere? Is that kind of like, this is going to be me this time next year? Did that kind of come to your head, or were you taking it as from a fan perspective, since you already got already whooped your victim, so you already have to win in your pocket?
I like fighting earlier in the night. It's super convenient for me because I get to watch all the fights. But it was actually kind of weird. They have a green room full of food for all the fighters and stuff. But the thing is, it's not separated by corner because the fight's already over. So there's no more tension, but it's kind of like it's the guys that won and it's the guys that lost in there. So everybody's like kind of all together. So it's kind of a weird vibe. It's like if they just had all the people that won in there, it'd be like, like super hyped up. Everybody's having a good time. But then there was me, and then a couple tables over was a dude I just, split him up with elbows like a couple hours before. So it was a little awkward, but, it was cool to be able to watch the fights and stuff back there and like have all these big names and stuff just like sitting by me and eating cake and stuff. It was a good time.
Yeah, not only that you split open, but possibly ended his UFC run for now. And I'm sure there's a whole bunch of things on his mind, but I could see how that would be pretty awkward. I could see that. Yeah, that's crazy. So, obviously, like you've been getting a lot of praise from, like Kendrick mentioned a minute ago, from a lot of people. And you seem to understand that this is not just a sport in itself. Like there's an entertainment aspect that you have to kind of captivate the fans to really get you to notice you. And I think you've got a lot of that just like on rip, like from personality and like your looks and everything. Like you got the Ben Askren lookalike thing going. Yeah. Like you've got the young kid like with the smile, and it's like, all right, it seems like you don't take yourself too seriously, and people are kind of drawn to that versus like somebody else who just looks like just walks in there looking all mean and everything, and it doesn't say much. So how much do you focus on that?
Sorry about that. I think I look too young and I get beat up too much to try to go in there and be the tough guy. You'll just come off as like way too fake, kind of like some of the stuff that Colby does. It's like pretty like rehearsed. You can hear him like reading the lines. But I just try to go in there and like, I don't know, like be genuine, be respectful. And I think, people seem to like that so far. I don't have like a TV personality, but it's gotten me this far.
So what would be safe to say? You see, like, even though you're young in this game, that you pay attention to detail. So you're taking a lot of little details from all these top fighters and putting on your Chase Hooper spin to take stuff to another level. I think I've been studying you like you studying everybody else. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I'd say anybody that doesn't kind of try to look at their whole profession and like see how they can get better and see what all the, people that are ahead of them are doing are kind of, they're not going to make it very long if they're just kind of looking at themselves. You got to kind of survey the field and see what everybody else is doing.
Are you prepared for now in 2020? People basically looking at you as just a hype machine, because we've seen people like a Sage Northcutt come through and stuff like that had this hype that didn't have the goods. How big a deal is to let these dudes know that, hey, I got the goods, I'm not just a hype?
I think it's definitely important. I kind of I want to kind of have more of a slow burn. I don't want to kind of go like how Sage did. He had a couple of like definitely easier fights and then he like tried to jump up and it didn't quite work out for him. I want to like, kind of slowly work my way up, take smart fights and kind of show off my skill and stuff. But I don't think it'll be a problem. I've been able to train with some like really high level guys. I'm working on all my like sections of fighting, all my different areas. And the thing at the end of the day is like, I'm 20 right now. Like I'm not even close to hitting my prime physically. So I could be a completely different fighter in like another 5 years. And I'm still not even in my prime then. So it's kind of waiting to see and trying to, stay in the game that long.
How big a deal for you is not just to be a good fighter, but be a great fighter and somebody that people talk about 10 years from now?
I think that's kind of everybody's dream, is to like leave a legacy in the sport. I've kind of, I've sacrificed so much this far to like make it here. Like I sacrificed my whole childhood to just, stay in the gym, and it kind of, it would be fulfilling for sure. But I feel, like for myself right now, everything on top of this is just kind of building, and it's like the cherry on top is just kind of all of this stuff that's happening right now. Like, I feel personally, I've already accomplished so much that, like I'm already proud of what I've done. But yeah, everything's just, I'm able to like enjoy what I'm doing now, and I kind of want to see how far I can take it.
100%. 100%. Yeah. So your first fight, your first official UFC fight. If I can get that out properly. Went pretty quickly. So have they been already calling you, trying to set up another fight for you already? I don't see anything scheduled just yet.
I'm not quite sure. I was thinking we were waiting until all the holiday stuff kind of blew over. And then my coach had to go out of the country to corner one of our guys. So I think his phone probably wasn't working quite well. So right now I'm just kind of waiting. I'm just kind of in purgatory right now and waiting to see what's next.
Gotcha. How many or how often rather do you watch other fighters and just the fights in general? Because some fighters we talk to don't watch any fights at all, which is kind of surprising to me, and others they don't miss a fight. So where do you fall into that?
Probably somewhere on the lower end. Like I'm not I don't know the 45 division like quite yet in depth, but we're me and my coach are going to kind of sit down and we're going to kind of try to look at the whole division overall, just kind of survey what fights might be on the radar. But I'll watch a fight card if other people are watching it. But I'm not really one of those people that goes out of my way to watch every single fight. I just kind of don't have the attention span for that. And there's definitely some fights I don't really care about. So
not really on that.
Well, we should get on that mic and call some people out going forward and let people know who you are.
I don't know. I feel like I'm not really like, like if they just saw this like weird skinny kid trying to call people out, it kind of, it's not really my thing. But I'll kind of take the fights as they come, or like, if other people call me out and it's a good fight, I'll kind of, move in that direction.
But does it matter how you look? As long as you get up in there and finish them, it don't matter what you look like.
For sure. That's definitely been a thing for like my whole career. Is like I'm always the guy that I've always been the palest guy that's in the cage, and the skinniest and the youngest. So it's kind of something I'm used to.
That's hilarious.
Have you thought about switching your nickname since you're not a teenager no more?
Yeah, we're dropping the teenage part. We're just doing the dream. Just kind of making it more
adult,
yeah, more mature.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when rappers drop a little after the name when they get older, Hey, it's no longer
just Bow Wow.
Yeah,
besides Lil Wayne, he's sticking with it.
Yeah, Lil Wayne's gonna stick with it forever. Yeah,
and with basically he only 5'6" though.
Right, yeah, that's hilarious. But yeah, man, it's funny because. I don't know. You could kind of, I guess I could see you like walking in there one day and just kind of trolling and like calling somebody out like all aggressive. And I think people would kind of laugh because it's like it doesn't fit. you know? I could see you doing that. That would be pretty funny. Like kind of like get on the mic and do like a Nate Diaz calling out Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere, everybody be like, "What just happened?" This doesn't seem like this would come out of Chase Hooper, but hey, I can see it. I can see it working. I don't know.
Maybe I'll call out Conor next. We'll see.
Yeah. So, who's been like the, I guess the most surprising or biggest name or somebody that you've looked up to that's kind of reached out to you and been like, "Hey, congrats, good luck," or something like that?
Kind of the people that are also like in the same, like kind of getting grouped into the joke type of stuff is like Ben Askren and like Sean O'Malley. Like I went on O'Malley's podcast and stuff and like talked to him a bit. He's a cool dude. Same thing with Ben Askren. He's a super cool guy. And they're like, they're into the joke. So I'm down with that. But it's cool to have like all these big name guys kind of like knowing who I am. Like I saw the other day just randomly like Darren Till followed me and I was like, oh, that's weird. Why would he do that? And yeah, it's cool.
Darren Till is he's hilarious. He's a big kid. I got to spend some time with him when he was here in Texas when he fought Tyron Woodley, and he's just a big kid. And I know like he comes off like super confident, super cocky in some of his interviews, but like they got to literally chill with him in his hotel room, and the dude is a big child. And I was like, oh my god, this dude is so goofy. He's hilarious and everything. But I mean,
I can see that.
Yeah. So I can see him. He spends way too much time on social media, at least Instagram from what I've seen too. So
yeah,
I can see that.
So are you a big social media guy?
I'm getting there. I'm trying to, work on it and get, because I feel like it's part of the job now. I kind of have to put content out there, or else it's going to kind of, I don't know. I feel like I need to now, so I'm kind of more forced to do it.
Does it feel like a burden, or is it just like, I'm kind of warming up to liking this kind of thing?
I'm getting there. I like doing stuff like that, kind of, or like throwing a meme out there or something like that. Yeah, it's a good time. I just kind of, I just take way too long to come up with captions. So it's like real inconvenient. Like my girlfriend wants to go somewhere, and I'm like, hold on, let me just type this out. It's going to take like another half hour, but we'll be fine.
I feel you on that. It takes me forever to come up with a name for each episode for our podcast, because I try to do like a little clever, like double entendre type name for every episode, and I'll sit here for hours sometimes.
This episode's going to be Boy Wonders, because we got you, and we have a boxing guy. His name's Xander Zayas. He's like only 17, and he's already whooping ass in the boxing game. So both of y'all, some youngsters whooping up on these grown ass dudes.
That's cool.
There you go. Kendrick gave me an episode title. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's nice.
I feel like the first one or two are probably easy, and then like, however deep, like after that, it just sucks. It's like, right,
yeah,
trying to come up with titles and all that.
Really stretching the creativity out,
I'm not that creative.
So what do you do when it's not fight stuff? Like, what do you do to kind of keep your mind off it? You mentioned the girlfriend. Obviously, I'm spending time with her, but what are some things that you like to do outside of the fight game?
I got kind of the normal stuff like video games and like taking naps, I guess. But I'm trying to kind of expand my horizons a little bit, do some more like cross training type of stuff. I've been kind of getting into like some indoor rock climbing, but I do that once every like couple months. Mm-hmm. It's a good time. Like taking my dog to the dog park. I don't know.
Gotcha.
It's like, I'm pretty lazy outside of the gym because I just, I use the excuse of like I use up all my energy stuff there, but when I get home, it's kind of like eat and chill for the most part.
It's a good excuse. It's a good excuse.
So fight week, what's your routine fight week? Do you like play video games or do stuff to keep your mind off the fight, or you just focus on the fight, watch film, be like I call it the robotic fighter?
I try to, it was nice with all the like UFC fight week stuff, because it just kind of, it fills the time so well. And I had a good time with it. I had fun with it. I try to kind of not think about the fight, or at least not think about the fight in too much, like detail. Cause if I do, then I'll start going to all the like what if scenarios. I was like, oh, what if this guy knocks me out? What if he like splits my face open? Stuff like that. So I try to keep my mind off of it, and it's usually me and a couple dudes staying in a hotel room. So it's like, just telling dick jokes and stuff all day and kind of hanging out. So it's not too bad, aside from the like starving myself and then like dehydrating part.
Yeah. That's dope.
Oh, no. Don't get my co-host talking about cutting weight. You get him started, Chase. Don't do that.
We'll save that for another episode. That's a deep dive for me. But let me ask you this, because we had another fighter on, Cody Stateman, not too long ago, and I was asking him because he was just coming off that draw, and that's like the only blemish on your record, so to speak, is you had that, what was it, a split draw? Is that what it was? Or something like that. Anyways, it's a draw on your record. So how did you process that? Because like there's no win, like you don't get to go back and cheer. It's not a loss. Yeah. It's kind of like we just showed up for nothing type thing. Like how did you process that?
It's one of those things where like at the time I was like, hey, I definitely won that fight. Like they just the judges kind of took it from me because it was like a local guy and I was the guy coming in from out of state, like flying across the country. I was fighting a dude in Jersey from the East Coast as well. So it's kind of like that. But, after the fight, it's like, hey, it's not a loss. I'm still undefeated. And I kind of accepted it more afterwards. But it's like, I feel like in that fight, I was just too focused on the stand-up. That fight was my first one after Contender. I was too focused on trying to show my improvement in my stand-up to where I kind of didn't really think about finishing the fight as much as I should have, or at least like taking it to where I wanted it to be. Because I'm more of a ground guy, so I should have been forcing the grappling more. And, so that was on me. That was like a learning experience for me, not forcing the issue with the grappling and stuff. And that was kind of, set me in the course of the right direction.
Gotcha.
I know you say you fully embrace fight week. How do you embrace dealing like with people like us, but don't ask questions as good as us? I saw some couple people. How's it feel to be the youngest person on the card? Thinking like you probably like I could care less. I'm used to this. But how you deal with not like getting attitude with people that ask some generic lame questions?
I don't know. I just kind of it was like when I did all that interview stuff, it was all in like that big media room. So it's like a whole like circus type of fiasco going on.
Oh, we've been in there.
Wild. Yeah.
We've been those guys. We've been those animals.
Yeah. I was still kind of, in awe of that. So it kind of, dampened everything. That made it more enjoyable. But the fact that I was already like kind of starting to cut weight sucked. Yeah, I just kind of, I deal with it.
Hey, you came off good. Like certain fighters, like they call you sir. I'm like, no, that's my dad. So it's kind of crazy.
For sure, it's weird for me too because I'm like, I don't think I'm old enough to be called sir. Like, not yet.
he's like, let me drink a beer first.
Yeah, I don't know. It is kind of weird because that does happen when fighters call us sir, and it's like we're trying to call you sir. Like you're the one about to go in there and throw hands with another dude. I think you deserve the sir at least. At the very least, you should get that respect.
I can understand that. That's fair.
Yeah. I know the media days do get wild sometimes, especially when guys like I've seen this happen a couple times where guys, because I don't know if they had it set up this way with you guys, but usually they have y'all like separated across the room from each other, like you're sitting in the same spot with your opponent straight across from you. And I've had that. Was that the way you were set up or no?
I think they might have had a separate room in Vegas. I'm not sure because I don't remember. I was trying to look for him, but I didn't see him.
Okay.
Yeah,
they might have changed it.
He's trying to look him up. Is it weird? Like I know y'all didn't have no beef between us, but you seem like I gotta very much process every little detail, which I can tell is gonna make you a special fighter. But I think it's crazy when you see these dudes just buck up, gotta be separated on the stage, and they go out the same exit, like within the arm's reach of each other after being separated not even a full minute ago. It's like
it's all pro wrestling.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like. My dude tried to get a little like uppity on the stage and stuff, and I was like, I didn't react at all because I feel like I understand that. Like it's just for the show. Like they're just trying to do it to get themselves out there, and it kind of shows that they're like, they're just as scared. They're trying to scare you because they're the ones that are like fearful themselves.
Dude, that brings up one of my favorite quotes. The loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. Type thing. I've loved that quote ever since I heard it on what was that movie, American Gangster, I think, way back in the day. But yeah. I did notice that. I like the way you handled that though, because you just like kind of deadpanned it. You were just like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just who I am. That's just what I do.
See, people like that, man. People like that. Like you could tell like he was trying to do a little bit too much, and you're just like,
yeah, he was extra.
Like, calm down, dude. You're like, relax.
Yeah. I think that definitely got a lot of people on my side after that.
100%.
I saw some people saying like, "Oh, he deserves to die," or like, get beat up in there because he like had he like tucked his shirt in without a belt. He's like, "Oh, he deserves to get knocked out now."
I just to pay this to every detail. Do you interact with your Twitter followers and stuff? I'm sure.
I try to. I have a good time with it. Like, people are pretty chill on social media. Like, not too many people are like, trying to show me how terrible I am yet. But yeah, so I try to like embrace that, support it.
Yeah, I would just say, man, I mean, just keep doing what you're doing, dude. Like you're getting a nice little following already after one win in the UFC and on a big card too, So ideally, if you had your way in 2020, how many fights would you have this year? Because you had 3 in 2019.
I'd like to have like 3 or 4 at least. It definitely, I think I'm more focused right now on having the right fights and keeping the momentum going than having a certain number. But if I could get 3 or 4, that'd be great. I'd like to make a ton of progress right now. But the thing is, like, I have so much time that I kind of, the world is my oyster. I'm kind of, trying to game plan and see what works best.
Great mindset. So tell me this: do you have like a target date of like, man, I want to be fighting, I want to be the top 5 by this year, or I want to be fighting for a belt by this age, or you literally like taking it like fight by fight? Like, you're the cliche of a fight. I'll just fight by fight and see what happens. Like, you seem like you're too analytical not to have a game plan. So I'm trying to find out what that game plan is.
I feel like I try to have a loose layout, because the thing is, like, I can't plan fight to fight. Like, I always think about like scenarios, 1 if I win, 1 if I lose. Like, if I lose, where am I going to be at? If I win, where am I going to be at? In kind of all aspects, like financially, mind state wise, training wise, and, next fight wise. So I try to think about those scenarios and stuff before the fight. And, right now I'm kind of, again, just kind of waiting to see what comes and like trying to have good fights. But I definitely would like to get a couple in this year.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, of course, we will be watching, man. Watching closely, man. Like you said, you kind of captivated a nice little audience right out the gate. So we appreciate you coming on with us and spending some time and letting our audience know a little bit more about yourself, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Definitely be in touch, Chase.
All right, thank you.
Please welcome to the Slip and Dip podcast, making a Slip and Dip debut. One of the best rising prospects in the boxing game today. He just fought last night with a unanimous decision over Corey champion, welterweight contender Xander Zayas.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, thank you guys again for the opportunity. It was a lot of fun yesterday. We got the victory. Now we're back home doing a great interview with you guys.
Did it seem like, from what I saw, you knew right away that you could win this fight any way you wanted to? You were content to go round to get them in. Like, if you really wanted to finish him, you could have got him out in the second round. Is that accurate? Because you hit him with a body shot and a combination, and then you kind of eased off and like, now I'm gonna get my sparring session in.
Yeah, it was a great fight. The opponent was very tough. I hit him with a lot of hard shots, and he stood there. So a lot of props to him. As they say, experience is very important in the ring, and those 4 rounds helped me a lot to get a lot of experience and to learn of my mistakes. And I feel very, very, very happy that I went all 4 rounds and got that experience in.
How many fights do you want to be in this year? You already got 1 on your belt for 2020. We'll see at least 4 or 5 more times if you have your way.
Whatever Tucson wanted to do. Remember, I can only find 3 states right now: Jersey, Nevada, and Texas, till I turn 18 in September. But whatever Top Ones want to do, I'll be ready to put on a show, and I'll make sure I'll be ready.
Hey, if you fight in Texas, we'll find a way to be there.
100%.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
100%, man. So yeah, you mentioned your age right there, man. So like, how old were you when you knew like this is what I'm gonna do?
So I started boxing when I was 5 years old. I'm gonna tell you guys a little more about my story. So you guys,
go for it.
I started when I was 5 years old. My mom decided to put me in boxing because I was being a victim of bullying. I'll say by the age of 10, 11, I decided that there was a sport that I wanted to follow and pursue as my career. I saw Miguel Cotto, my inspiration, my favorite fighter of all times. I saw him, all the glory that he brought to Puerto Rico, and I wanted to be like him. I wanted to have that same glory and the same fan base behind him.
Gotcha.
So yeah, around the age of 10, 11, I decided that I wanted to, do boxing for the rest of my life.
Very cool. And how does it feel to be like still very young in your career, and you've got a lot of people already kind of pinning you to be the next big guy?
Man, it's unreal. I mean, I feel so blessed, happy. I want to thank every single one of you that support me and show love. And without you guys, it wouldn't be possible. And I just gotta continue to work hard and just keep accomplishing and keep racking W's.
How big a deal is it to be a crossover star? Because it seems like you already get it. Even though you're not old enough to drink a beer, you got the business side on representing your country of Puerto Rico, but still represent America. Because we hadn't seen nobody really do that since De La Hoya.
Yeah, I mean, Puerto Rico is my island. I was born there. I was raised there till I was 11. I mean, I love Puerto Rico. I love the people, but I also love the people that in the United States. I mean, I also grew up in the United States, and I'm still growing up in the United States, and it's a lot of people behind me here. So I gotta show love to both of the country, Puerto Rico and United States.
As far as your weight class, you're in like the weight class with the most smoke in any weight class in boxing.
Yes,
How much does that get? Because like people talk about, of course, the Spences, the Crawfords, the Porters, but then you got somebody like Victor Ortiz, who's kind of like what you are, but I guess what you would like to be. He's already prospect of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, you said it. It's just a great weight class. I mean, you got the best of the best. I'll say. Pacquiao, Crawford, Spence, I mean, you name it. But again, I'm still 17 years old. I don't know where I'm gonna end up by the time I'm 20, 21. But again, it's just a lot of hard work, dedication, and then staying focused.
So you mentioned being like influenced by like Cotto, like coming up. Like, so who's the guy that's like in your ear now, kind of like as a mentor? Like that's whether it be another fighter or somebody like in your family, or who's that person that you can turn to for advice and things like that?
I mean, I have George Cambosos. He's the lightweight number 2 or 3, I believe, in the IBF. I got Teofimo Lopez, IBF world champion lightweight. I got Terrence Crawford. I mean, great guys that I talk to and I have good conversation with. I mean, Amir Imam. I mean, great guys.
100%, yeah. We've had we had Teofimo Lopez on the show a couple of times, and he's doing big things too, like at a young age as well. So
definitely, that's my boy right there.
Him and his dad are a trip. Teofimo Senior, he's wild.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great dude though. He's a great dude. Excellent. A lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and just staying focused and staying patient.
100%, man. So what do you, I mean, obviously, like 17 years old, pro boxer, you're 3 fights in. How important is it for you to not just like consume your life with boxing, or are you just like 100% boxing? Like, what do you do to kind of keep your mind off the sport? When you get too tired with like training all the time and things like that.
So as you guys wonder, I'm finishing high school.
For sure. I was gonna get there.
Yeah. So I do homeschool after I finish training. But during my free times, I like to go out with my friends, go out to the beach, go out to the movies. Just like a normal person. And just have a cool time. I like to chill, vibe, and just enjoy myself with my friends.
Is it true that you're gonna go to your prom still?
Yes, sir.
So, like for instance, when you reconnect with your friends, that's like a big win. Like Saturday, do you get noticed more and more by people that you didn't even know you? Is your following growing bigger on its own? And you're like, oh, I didn't know they knew me, or somebody come up to you for a random picture or something like that.
Yeah, it happened. I mean, in the mall sometimes, like a couple people stop me, oh, you Xander Zayas, and I'm like, oh wow, like people is recognizing me. It's amazing, and my friends, they start hyping me up, and it's fun. But I just gotta stay humble and embrace the moment.
How cool is it to be doing like you're 17 and you're doing business with an 88-year-old legend in Bob Arum? That's gotta be crazy. I
mean, it's surreal. I mean, every time I sit down with him, we always have a great conversation. Great person, legend, and what else can I say? Just a great human being.
Do you as you get bigger and stuff? Do you already have like a set plan? Like, do you and like your family have like, okay, by 21 I want to be doing this. By 23 you want to do this, or y'all just taking everything like one fight at a time?
Yeah, we taking everything one step at a time. We don't want to rush anything. I know when we're in the right position, we will take the right move, and I know me and my team will go in the right path. We just got to stay focused and, again, dedicated. But everything step by step.
100%. I mean, that's got to be the way to do it, man. I guess so young, like you got so many years ahead of you. It's kind of crazy, man, because we've seen I guess like a surge of like young talent coming up and doing big things. We've had a couple of them on the show before. Like I said, Teofimo Lopez already, Austin Williams, another guy out of Texas down here who's doing really well. So the boxing's future, like it was just a few years ago, like everybody seemed like, oh, boxing's dead, like, comparatively, even talking about like MMA and stuff. When you were like still like really young, were you hearing any of that? And did that kind of discourage you any, or were you just still focused on doing it?
I mean, a lot of people, it got to a point that a lot of people said that boxing was dying down a little. It wasn't as much, love to the sport. But that never stopped me. That never stopped my will to be where I wanted to be in boxing, and not just in boxing, in life. And I believe it pushed me a little, because I didn't want people kind of like disrespecting my sport and disrespecting what I do. So it pushed me a little. It set up a fire in me that I wanted to be that next person that set up, like, revive or give life again to boxing.
Yeah. What's some things that you want the fans to know about you, that they see you up in there, a teenager whooping up on these grown dudes? What else do you want them to know about Xander Zayas?
Man, I'm just a chill guy. I like to meet new people. If any of you guys ever see me, around, don't hesitate and come say hi. I'll be more than happy to say hi and take a picture or sign an autograph. It don't really matter. Whatever you guys want to do, I'll be more than happy to do it. I'm just a very, very happy guy.
Well, I see you blinged out at one of these top ranked fights. You know how everybody shows up at a mega fight, like when Terrence and Teofimo on them fought. Well, I see you up in New York again the next time they have a big fight.
Man, anything can happen. If they fight New York again, and then I'll be able to go. If I'm not in camp or and I'm not doing something, with the family, and I'm able to go, I will most definitely go. I learned a lot last time. It was my first time in New York. It was kind of cold, but but I had a lot of fun though. I had a lot of fun, learned a lot, and had a great experience. I had a great time.
Do you watch a lot of fighters?
My next question.
Yes, yeah. yes, I do. I watch Spence, Crawford, Canelo. Jose Ramirez, Fury with Wilder.
You like naming the top 10 in the world.
I just like to learn from all of them, because all of them have something different and something in common. And I learn from all of them and try to take pieces from each of them and then put them on my style.
Okay, I like that. So do you obviously, I guess you kind of like get super excited like we do when we hear like these big fights, like these Wilder Furies, even guys like outside of your class, like you get real pumped up for those fights?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Right now that you're talking about Fury Wilder too, that's gonna be a great fight. I'm really pumped up for that one. I really want Fury to win. It's gonna be a great fight. Anything can happen in boxing. Again, Wilder is a dangerous man. He can hurt everybody in whatever round, whatever second of the round. It's gonna be a great one, and I'm really excited to watch it.
Have you ever seen anything like that? Like, I can tell you personally, I've never seen anything like what happened in the first fight. See a man get hit that hard and then just rise from the dead, like out of nowhere. Yes.
That was like an Undertaker type of thing. The way he got up, I was like, whoa. I was like, I was surprised. But he got up and he finished the fight. And for me, personal opinion, I believed he won the fight. Even with those two knockdowns, I believe he pulled it off. I believe he outboxed Wilder, and let's see what happened in this second one.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I see y'all in Vegas for that. I'll be there ringside. I was there for fight one. I sure enough gonna be out there for fight two.
Man, let's see what happened again. I don't even know if I have something with the family yet. If I have camp going on, it just depend on what's going on at that moment, and I'll decide if I will be there or not.
Gotcha. So once you get through school, will it be just all boxing all the time?
Yeah, I go to the gym at 8 a.m. Finish at 12. Then I do my homeschool work in the computer. I do online school. So I got all that time from 1 to 5, 6 p.m. to work on my school.
No, I mean like once you get your degree, your diploma, will you would be just straight boxing all the way out?
My bad. I'm sorry, I didn't get the question. But yes. I want to focus on boxing for at least after I finish high school. I want to focus on boxing for at least 3-4 years, and then go to college. I want to study criminal justice, and just to finish my education. But yeah, I will most definitely focus on boxing.
That's very nice. Did we catch some a second ago? You said that was like an Undertaker moment. Are you a pro wrestling fan too?
I don't watch MMA or WWE like that. But when it comes to big fight, like the big fight that we have next week, Conor McGregor, I'm really pumped up for that one, and I really want to watch it.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, we're obviously, of course, because we cover both, so we'll be pumped up for that as well. I should be going to it, but I won't. I'll be going to the one the next month here in Houston, or down in Houston rather, John Jones.
Nice. John Jones is he's a Batman right there too.
Right. But we both have been to some of Conor's biggest moments, like the Aldo fight where he knocked him out in 13 seconds, Chad Mendez, big moments like that. And what I've noticed is Conor brings an entire different energy to him because he has a whole country behind him. You kind of have that same thing. Are you going to kind of focus on that, like making sure like, hey, I'm representing my people, I'm representing bringing this to the ring every time, I see you carrying the country's flag with you already, or the Puerto Rico flag rather with you. Are you going to make sure to harness that all the way up as you continue to grow in your career? Yes.
I mean, Puerto Rico is all, I got a lot of people from Puerto Rico already behind me, following me, and I gotta support, and show love to my Iceland. But again, I got a lot of fans all around the United States and the world. So, I mean, I gotta support all of them. But yes, I will most definitely keep bringing the flag and keep repping Puerto Rico.
And how is everybody that you have down there? Because I know that there was more issues. Was it earthquakes and stuff like that that happened? How is everybody doing on your end?
Everybody's doing great. They're in the north part of Puerto Rico, and everybody's doing great.
That's good to hear.
How much has Peter Khan, working with him, helped you already with him being such a hands-on manager?
I mean, for me, Peter Khan, I call him manager of the year. He's a great dude. I mean, work with a lot of guys, and he's just amazing. He's just amazing. He gets his job done. His job done. I'm sorry, and just do great.
That's dope.
So besides boxing, what other sports do you watch besides boxing and combat sports? Besides boxing and MMA, you watch NBA? I know you out there in Heat country.
Yes, I watch NBA. My favorite team is the Lakers.
Hey, you joined the club. That's both of us.
Yes.
I'm going to All-Star Weekend in 2 weeks. I'll be out there.
Oh, yeah?
I'm doing something with AD.
Man, you lucky, man. My favorite team is the Lakers. I watch football. I like I have the Chiefs winning Super Bowl.
Okay.
I like this, man. I'm 100% right there with you.
I had the Ravens, but they got out yesterday. But yeah, I got the Chiefs this time now. I got the Chiefs.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I gotta go with the Chiefs.
Man, see, I'm liking this dude more and more. Got a Lakers fan on the show with us right now, Chiefs fan. Yeah, man, I like this. Are the Chiefs your primary team, or are they just who you're cheering for now? Because our primary team are the Cowboys. That's how we roll.
Man, the Cowboys? Oh, yeah, from Texas. That's right.
Not the Texans, not that team. They got to put their hand over their logo because they be blowing them 20-plus leads on the regular in the playoffs.
Yeah, my primary team is the Ravens. This season I went with the Ravens as a primary. I rep. I really like the Chiefs this time.
Nice.
This all around the last couple of years.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. I like it. Pat Mahomes is a beast, man.
Yes, sir.
100%.
But what's the coolest thing about being so young? Like I won't call you a kid, but being a young adult in a grown man's world, you probably see things from a different perspective than most people.
I mean, everything is fun. I try to enjoy everything. I try to embrace the moment. But one of the funnest thing is to meet all those persons that you once looked in TV and was like, damn, I want to be like them. And look at, be in front of them and shake their hands and have a conversation with them, like Andrew Ward, like Tom, like Bradley, like Crawford, those guys. I mean, it's amazing and really fun to have a conversation with them and to tell yourself, like, wow, a couple of years back, I was looking at them at the TV saying that I wanted to be like them, and now I'm shaking their hands and having a conversation with them. So that's really fun.
Who's somebody that's in your division now that you like to see, say, 4 or 5 years from now?
I wouldn't name nobody because, again, I don't know where I'm going to be 4 or 5 years from now. But, whatever challenge comes to the table, I know I'm going to be ready. My team is going to be ready, and we're going to work hard for it.
Gotcha. Is there anybody, like, you mentioned all these big names that you've been looking up to? Has there been anybody, you don't have to give us the details of what happened, but has there been anybody, one of those names that you've sparred with yet, just to kind of move around with in the ring?
Oh, yes. Most definitely. Amir Imam, he's my sparring partner. Mm-hmm. George Cambosos, Teofimo Lopez. Okay. So, I've been there with great experience and got a lot of rounds with them and a lot of experience with them too.
I close it that some people are comparing your style to basically a mix of Mayweather and Canelo. That's like the ultimate mix right there.
Yeah, that's a crazy mix.
Yeah. I'm really happy again for all the supporters, all the love that they be showing. I just got to stay focused, keep working hard, and stay dedicated. And, I embrace the moment, man. Embrace the moment. That's the most important part.
And as far as when you fight, I like the fact, how would you describe your style? Because it seems like you have the skill that you can outbox somebody like a Mayweather, and you can go get them out of there. Which one do you prefer to do? Because we say you do both in your 3 fights.
It just depends. It just depends on how the fight goes. But I'm a boxer puncher. I'm a boxer. I like to move around, but again, I like to put my power shots. I like to put combinations together and just stay in distance so I can put my power shots and my combinations together.
100%. Yeah, man. So ideally, when's the next time that you want to get back into the ring? Ideally, if you had your pick.
I don't know. whenever top runs tell me that they have a date for me, I'll be definitely most ready to go, ready to roll, ready to put on a show, and ready to get the victory.
Very cool. Zayas, man, we appreciate you coming on the show, man.
And thank you, guys. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
We can make a routine of this, man. Our motto here on the Slip It In podcast is, you ball, you get the call. So you keep getting these wins, we'll keep having you on for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And when you get that belt, remember the team that stayed with you from day one.
Hey, thank you, guys. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the time. Yeah, I had a blast, and hopefully we can do it again soon, man.
For sure. Appreciate it.
Man, thank you.